a beautiful day as we're getting ready for a weekend of excitement. The Bureau of Land Management. Hi there, Clint Mothershed's joining us. Amanda Halsey, they're getting situated here. It's time to go outdoors and talk about your public lands and in specifically this amazing event that is back for 2 days, absolutely free, family friendly. Well, what am I doing talking about it when I have Amanda Halsey here? And she is the visitor's guide extraordinaire for the center. In fact, she does a little bit of everything because I guess, Amanda, you were out there power washing just before you came in to make sure it's all nice and clean for us.
Yes, I did. Beautification.
Well, thank you. And I think that's really a good example of how hardworking and diverse all of you are at the California Trail Interpretive Center, especially, but and also at the BLM. When you work for a public lands agency, there are many tasks to be accomplished.
That's absolutely right. And there's so many things to do, and I just want it to be really enjoyable for everybody that comes out. So we got to take care of what we got to take care of.
Yeah, well, with that in mind, you put together a fantastic list, Amanda, and I want to let you go over all the exciting events for the California Trail Interpretive Center Trail Days, Saturday and Sunday, with a theme of surviving the trail. We survived the pandemic. We're ready to go.
Yeah, we're pioneers as well, aren't we? Modern day pioneers. So, well, let's get to it. It is, as you said, tomorrow and the next day, so Saturday and Sunday. This is a completely free event for everybody to come out to and enjoy. It starts at 10 a.m. tomorrow, and it'll end at 4 p.m. both days as well. Surviving the trail is our theme, and we're going to have lots of really awesome booths set up and demonstrations, starting with our Shoshone Village. We will have Native American demonstrations done by Tim Murphy, who's a retired archaeologist in Elko, and he'll be teaching us about the daily lives of the Western Shoshone people. Leah Brady's going to be out there teaching about basket weaving skills, which is something that I'm personally very, very excited to see. I think that weaving is a really awesome art form. And then Frank Joe is going to be out there, and he is from the Stewart Indian School.
Oh, so he'll give us a history of that or a perspective?
Yes, he will. And I do believe he's only going to be out there on Saturday. So, and speaking of which, there are a couple of things that are going to be Saturday only. So those are going to be our honey, mud, and maggots lecture, which is a medical practice on the trails. I was told that I need to give a content disclaimer on this one before the squeamish people, because it is old-timey medical practices. That'll be at 3 p.m. on Saturday only. So if you are thinking you can only make it for one day, this is definitely something I would recommend trying to see. And then Saturday only is going to be our Pioneer Dance with live music from Southwind, and that will be at 7 p.m.
And that's for everybody because they teach you steps, right?
Yes, they do. They're going to have a caller coming out, and I think that they are bringing them from out of town. So this is a professional caller that will be teaching different steps to these dances. So that's very exciting.
Oh, that's great. And again, it's just a wonderful high desert atmosphere out there, and you kind of get the feel and the smell of the sagebrush
Yes.
and hopefully the starry skies.
Yes, absolutely. The Pioneer Dance is always my favorite because it cools down in the evening and people are just cutting loose, and some are still in their pioneer get-ups, and some people come out from the public, and it's just like a really enjoyable time. I've gone to it for years, even before I was working out at the center.
Oh, Amanda, that's terrific. And again, this is Saturday and Sunday. You can go to one day, both days. Each day, the activities will be different, and as you just mentioned, some are Saturday only from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And all of this is absolutely free.
Yes, all of it is absolutely free. And then specifically for the kids, we're going to have our Junior Ranger Bingo. So there's a big list of all the different things that they can go out and find, such as the wagon rides, cooking on the trail, which we'll have our Dutch ovens going on out there, Pioneer Chores, which is actually a lot more fun than it sounds. And the kids can, I want to say it's about 5 of these different things that they'll go out there and find. They'll get a stamp for it. And then once they accomplish that, they will get a little prize at the end. So there is something for everybody out here, from toddlers all the way to seniors.
Oh, and sometimes people bring, we've seen chickens running around. There might be cow dogs. There might be
Yes, we're going to have lots
animals.
Of horses this year, actually. So we'll have the horse rides, but we'll also have just some horses out there that you can interact with and feed hay to. And we built little, I keep calling them the pony posts for the horse to be tied up to. And so we just got like a lot of new stuff going on out there. Some of the same old favorites going on out there as well.
Very nice. So again, as Amanda Halsey's been describing, from Native American demonstrations to the Junior Ranger bingo activities, the immigrant skills, and you have some really beloved people coming back to do these demonstrations.
Yes, we do. So we have Connie Jacobs coming out to do brain tanning, which I didn't even know that was a thing, but we're going to check that out. That's going to be pretty amazing. Ursula Stanton's coming out to do, like I said, the Dutch oven cooking. And she'll be accompanied by quite a few other people doing that as well. Mr. Jeff Williams will be having his historic gun display. I heard he's bringing 60 or so guns to show and to explain and to do historical just information about. So that's really exciting. And then, of course, fan favorite, we have our archery and axe throwing out there, which has become one of our wildest programs.
Yeah, and again, people of all ages and skill levels and experience. You can have no experience and basically learn how to do some of these activities.
Yeah.
And it's great that Jeff's coming back. So shout out to Jeff Williams. He's a former county commissioner, much loved local resident. He does have this extraordinary collection of historic guns and a story behind each and every one of those.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah, so that it's good that he's able to come back this year, because I know with the pandemic, I don't think, we couldn't have the event, and then some activities fell off. But you've really got a great lineup, Amanda, for this weekend.
And I did want to mention, because I know they had showed Gravelly Ford, the documentary, recently in town, but if anybody had missed that, we will be showing it both Saturday and Sunday at 1 p.m. And that is the documentary that they did right out here. They actually borrowed a wagon from us to do it. And so we'll be showing that both days. So if anybody has missed that before, we've got it for you.
Okay. California Trail Interpretive Center Trail Days, Saturday and Sunday, free admission from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day. And I know you mentioned that there will be some food available, so you do want to bring some spending money for that.
Yes, there will be food available, and also our gift store. So if you want to bring your spending money, definitely do that. And then, just bring your own water bottle. We want people to hydrate, stay safe out in this warm weather, which we're so lucky to be having.
Yes, it is going to be a fantastic weekend for that. The programs are taking place both inside the center and outside in the Wagon Camp and the Shoshone Village. Usually you have volunteers who help construct, what's the name for the shelters again? Boho?
So the Shoshone word for it is Bahagani.
Thank you.
Yes, or our sage huts, and then also known as wiki up. So they have a lot of names, I know. It's hard to keep track, but I love the Shoshone word for it, Bahagani.
Yeah, one of my favorite pictures of our daughter is of Olivia, probably in middle school, and she's wearing pioneer dress and pioneer apron, and she's standing in the doorway of the wiki up. I've got to practice the word.
Come on out, I'll teach you.
Yes, Bohogani? Bahagani. Thank you so much, Amanda. And that's part of it too. You get to learn about the culture and the words and the correct pronunciation, and show respect, for that too, because we have a lot of people lending to this, including this gorgeous art exhibit of the Owyhee Youth Combined School. Tell us about that, Amanda.
Yes, I know. I love this exhibit so much. So that art is going to be out there for Trail Days, obviously, and then it stays up in our exhibit until October 1st. And then most of it is available for purchase. The kids from the combined school made this art. They've done paintings and they've done traditional fire pit pottery as well. And all of the proceeds from those go directly back to the children that made them. So that's always a wonderful thing about it. The art is so beautiful, and it's inside in our South Fork room. It's a great display this year for sure.
All right. Some of it is, as you mentioned, for sale, but otherwise just enjoy the exhibit there in the South Fork room. And I like what you mentioned in our last visit, Amanda, that you can actually smell the pots.
Yes, they smell really amazing, actually. I called it fragile, fantastic, and fragrant.
And there you are, a poet as well.
Yes.
So thank you for bringing to us this wonderful description and an exciting invitation. Amanda Halsey is the visitor's guide for California Trail Interpretive Center, and you can tell that she and the staff are ready for all this weekend's activities. This is great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
Yeah. Well, if there's anything we forgot, because we get to visit with Clint Mothershed too. There's some other BLM news, but we'll circle back around to you too. Okay.
Okay, fantastic.
We'll circle the wagons back around to you. Time for Trail Days. So thanks, Amanda, so much. So we are going to now visit with Clint Mothershed, and Clint is here, and he is bringing his important message as the Elko BLM District Fire Mitigation Education Specialist and Wildfire Trespass Coordinator. Clint, it's great to see you. I just like to think of you as the smoky guy. You arranged the wonderful smoky visit, so thank you.
Yep. I'm glad to be here again. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We look forward to our visits with you. I don't know if you have the same things on your list, but I do know that in addition to Trail Days, there were a couple of releases that Pat sent out for us, Pat Ryan, who's a public affairs officer, about, are you going to talk about Noxious Weed Knockout Day?
I'm not
You
aware
did not
of
know
that.
that.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me mention it quickly because this is an important day at the Spring Creek Marina tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The BLM Eastern Nevada Landscape Coalition and Spring Creek Association will host an educational day. They're actually looking at fun and events for the family. So you see, again, you can go to Trail Days, both, Saturday, Sunday, or if you need to attend the Weed Knockout Day, this one is from 10 to 2. And they don't want you to bring any weeds with you. That's an important disclaimer there. But they're going to be teaching about weeds. They'll have materials for kids and visitors and stations with coloring books and things like that. And the BLM is an important partner in this because, and this is a good introduction to you actually, Clint, because we know that the wrong kind of vegetation can actually fuel those disastrous fires.
Yeah, you're correct, Lori. And what typically happens in Spring Creek, for example, is all the disturbance to the native soil. The stuff's been there forever to develop property, to develop lots. When you create that disturbance, the invasive species such as cheatgrass and the noxious weeds, they tend to outcompete the native vegetation, the annual bunch grasses you see growing so beautifully out there right now. They'll outcompete those and kind of choke them out. But for some odd reason this year, the native species are actually outcompeting the cheatgrass. The cheatgrass in a lot of spots is not very tall, and these native bunch grasses are they're growing. They're still going. They're even at our district office. I think we're looking at 14 to 16 inch bunches, and there's still no seed head on them, so they're still growing. So
That's nice, and that means they're providing a wildlife habitat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the thing with the cheatgrass is it's super receptive to fire, so it cures out really quickly. Once it's cured out, wildlife will not touch it. They won't eat it. It'll go to seed again, and if we get more rains, it can actually germinate again. So it can, I think, up to 3 times a year. It could actually happen. So then if we got more rain after that, then we'd have a second cheatgrass crop, and it's just very receptive to heat, to spark. It's a primary carrier for most of our wildfires in Elko District, and when you have big water years and you have a high loading of those fine fuels, you tend to get those larger, more explosive fires.
Noxious weeds, that'll do it.
Yep,
Okay.
they could, definitely.
Well, what else is on your list today, Clint?
Well, us just going to talk first, I guess, about the weather that we should be looking at. This came from our meteorologist for the next 3 months. We are transitioning to El Nino still. I have seen some stuff about possibly having a super El Nino, which just means that the Pacific will heat up even more than an average El Nino, and that'll lead to more transevaporation in the atmosphere, which will lead to more storms coming through the area. Right now, our meteorologists think that we're going to have average temperatures and above average precipitation through June. So the weather cycle we've been seeing, it might stay that way, which is a good thing, and it's a bad thing too. We can't have it the perfect world here. So
Because I guess once the fuels grow, then they dry out.
they will stop getting the rain, then they'll cure. So we're looking at probably a delayed fire season, which will go into the fall probably through hunting season, until we get precipitation in the form of snow, or at least up to an inch of rain. Maybe a half inch of rain might do it, but probably on the higher end of that with the amount of loading that we're seeing out there right now. And then the other bad thing is, typically when we get these wet years like this, it's not this fire season that we're so concerned about. It's the following fire season, or possibly even 2 fire seasons, because we won't typically see the snow load that we had this last year. So all the stuff that grew this year will still be standing. The snow won't mat it down because there won't be enough of it, and it'll still be standing there ready to burn. And then you get another crop of grass in there, and then it gets to be pretty crazy. So we're not really looking forward to the next couple seasons.
Right. And if we were even just contemplating management as the BLM manages for multiple resources right now, there aren't enough cattle and even wild horses. They don't eat all of this forage. It's just, this is the noxious weeds we're talking about, right?
It's not just the noxious weeds, but it's the grass loading itself. I mean, as long as cheatgrass is green, livestock, wildlife, they'll eat it. But as soon as it cures so fast, that's the problem, is there's not a big window for livestock or wildlife to actually be able to eat it all.
So again, just part of the cycle of nature and what we're seeing in these extreme weather conditions.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. What else is on your list, Clint?
Well, I was going to, one of our partnering agencies, the Elko County Fire, I was just going to let everybody know that the open burning is still going on, and it's an online permitting process. And with that, you will basically get on the Elko County Fire website. It's right there on the main page. You'll click on the button, and you'll go through this whole process. And the end of it, you basically will know exactly what you can and can't do, what you can and can't burn, when you should do it, what you should have available when you decide to do it, and some thresholds with the climate that means you shouldn't probably burn. You know, the winds in excess of 10 miles an hour, or if it's going to be extremely hot. You know, so they allow people to burn between 6 and noon, and you want people to have a shovel and a garden hose there, not just a garden hose, but one with charged water in it, just in case something does flare up. And right now, looking outside, it's a low occurrence, but it could happen. And then eventually they will just come out and say no more open burning. The county will. I'm sure there'll be press releases. It'll probably be on the radio. So, but we have had our top 2 causes of fires in Elko District are, throughout the state of Nevada really, are roadside and debris burning. The debris burning, a lot of that is from individuals getting the burn permits and not adhering to the stipulations within the permit. Like they don't call in, and so then their neighbors see smoke and they call the fire department, and their people are burning. They have everything else right, but they never called in, or they are burning in the afternoon. Just one of those mini caveats. They didn't follow to the T, and so then the county and other agencies end up sending resources to those fires and get turned around halfway through it, and it's just unnecessary. So just would like people to be aware of that. And then roadside ignitions. In the last week, we've had 2 vehicle fires that have extended into the wildland, meaning it started on the shoulder of the highway and then it got into the grass and the sage, and it didn't burn a lot, but that's our number 1 cause in the entire state is vehicle related. So you're talking tire chains. A lot of it is centered around vehicle maintenance. People just, times are tough for some folks, and their car might not be running just right. So they keep driving it because that's the only method they have to get to work, or what be it, and ends up breaking down or catching on fire, and then could be off to the races. I think we're looking good probably through the 4th of July as far as the fuels go, and then kind of a wait and see approach after that. We don't know if we're going to get more rain into July, and if this is going to be a really slow season. We don't really know what to expect. We just know that there is stuff out there that eventually will be ready to burn.
So it is a good reminder. It's now the time. Clear out, create your defensible space around your rural homes and property, right?
Yeah. So basically, for folks out that live in the WUI, we call that the Wildland Urban Interface. It's an acronym we use quite frequently. We just ask people to mow around your property, especially your structures. If you have any trees, especially up against near your house or any of your structures, to take off the lower branches, and then remove any ladder fuels between the ground and the tree branches itself, so the fire can't get into the canopies, and that will mean that it just won't be able to get, hopefully, into your home, burn your home, damage it, or whatever. So we just don't have enough fire trucks for all the homes on the WUI around here, so we've got to have homeowners do what they can, do their due diligence, and protect their homes themselves.
Yep, so a good thorough cleanup, and the website livingwithfire.org.
I think they're .com now.
.com now.
Yeah, it'll redirect though.
Oh, good. Living with Fire, and that will get you all kinds of great information, things that you probably never thought of that you can do around your property to make it more fire safe.
Yep.
Yeah.
So lots of good tips and tricks and things for people to think about. Another thing in the WUI is all the, you have your septic systems and you have your septic tanks, and people don't mark those on their property. And when you get engines trying to stop a fire from getting from house to house, they can drive right over those things, and they weigh up to 15, 20 ton, and they can break through those vaults, and
That's
it's
no
just
fun.
just
Yeah.
a mess, no pun intended. And so we recommend people to get the little, you can get them at Home Depot. They're little driveway markers that have the reflect top on them, so you can stick them in the ground and fire. If there's a fire at night, they'll be able to see them, and it's just an identifier that they'll think that's what it is, and they'll stay away from that as far as the suppression resources go.
Now, you used a word a couple. What's WUI?
Wildland Urban Interface.
Oh, thank you. Okay, good. There's a new acronym out there.
There's tons of acronyms.
Yeah, that one's, WUI.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're talking with Clint Mothershed from Elko Bureau of Land Management, the Elko District, and talking about fire safety heading into, what about, can you believe it, but I've already heard fireworks in the neighborhood, even just up in the tree streets. People are using fireworks, Clint.
Yeah, I heard him a couple nights ago.
Did you too?
Oh,
Yeah. It wasn't you then?
No, it wasn't me.
No.
No.
We know.
Sorry.
Yeah. Amanda said she's teasing, but she lives in the neighborhood too. So we know. But you may have heard them too. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been interesting, right?
Yeah. Just because, we know fireworks are fun, but the fact is, if they get up into some of those dry trees, Clint, you could start a fire.
Yeah, you could. And if folks have been paying attention around not just Elko, but the county, there's certain pine trees that it seems the last couple of drought
Exactly.
years, it's really taken a toll on them, and they seem to be dying. So, yeah, you have everything you would need up in those trees right now to actually possibly get a fire started up in a tree just from a firework, which doesn't happen very often around here.
Yeah, so let's keep it that way. Yeah, just a reminder. Shooting is also can be a concern if you don't conduct it safely.
Yes, so right now things are looking good with the grass being green. It's usually that fine fuel bed I was talking about earlier, that cheatgrass, when it gets fully cured, use a steel jacketed or steel core bullet. It strikes a hard object, be it a rock, a piece of steel, or whatever, and it can fragment. And just due to the sheer science behind it, that fire can start pretty simply. And a lot of people don't know they start them because they can smolder for up to 15 minutes before they actually start taking off. So people might even be done shooting in the area that they were at, and all of a sudden they look in their rearview mirrors, they're driving away, and there's a fire. And so
and there's a wonderful Elko County shooting range. It is fully developed. They have potable water. They have restrooms now, thanks to friends of the NRA and different groups, Clint, right? That's very accessible.
Oh yeah, it's a great gun range, and having been throughout the state, and I've gone to pretty much every shooting range in the state. I like Elko's for the simple reason that there's no range master there, so it's just people respecting each other and doing their thing. If you go to Reno or to Southern Nevada and Las Vegas area, the Clark County Shooting Complex, it's all controlled, and people have to wait, and it's very regimented when you go do that. But we still prefer that people use the established sites here and not just go find their own, because lots of rocks in Elko County, so it doesn't. Like I stated earlier, it doesn't take much once the conditions are right. It has to be over 90 degrees. The humidities need to be single digit, and it just needs to have a slight wind, and that's all it takes.
Okay, we have had some of those disastrous fires, and just, recalling for people, I believe that's how the Lamoille Canyon fire was.
The Range 2 fire, that is the belief, yes.
Yes. So that's a serious liability, and certainly not something I think you would have to move away if you did something like that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and we just want folks to be aware that you can be charged, not criminally or anything, for these fires, but once we get into fire restrictions, which we are in the first set, but the first set is pretty much centered around spark arresters on your chainsaws and your vehicles, no exploding targets. It's only a subset of what we will fully see, and it might not be until August before we go into fire restrictions here. But looking at the amount of grass out there, the amount of tags that come out for hunting, and the amount of people that come forward with those tags, that will be probably having to go into fire restrictions to kind of limit some of the dispersed camping site fire rings with open flames with no restrictions, because it gets windy, those embers can get in that fuel bed, and then it's off to the races. So
well, and hence why we have a fire mitigation specialist. So thank you, Clint.
Yes,
People may not realize it, that you and your team and your collaborators, you work on this for months. It's a year-round position.
It is, definitely. Yes. Yeah, we do events year-round, even in the winter. We try to participate in the community, be it Parade of Lights, Shop with a Cop, or elementary school type of environmental education days, or ag agriculture days, whatever schools have, we try to send some firefighters there just to talk to kids about fire safety, let them check out some of the cool tools there are, and, just let them see what it's like, how heavy a fire pack is that you have to pack around all day on your back. You can't just take it off while you're working in an area. You leave it on, and those things can get up to 40 pounds. So yeah, there's some pretty strong people out there that do this job. Great people.
Yeah, definitely. So do your part and help them to stay safe and to help them do their jobs effectively. So yeah. We're getting to everything on your list today, Clint?
Yeah, the only thing that I really have is more of a public awareness thing, is just all the upcoming events we're going to be having. So as people know, we've got trail days going on this weekend at the California Trails Interpretive Center, and then we've got the Mining Expo, I believe is next weekend. Then we have all the countywide 4th of July events. I think it's Jackpot, Wells, Elko, Carlin, Spring Creek have fireworks shows, and Carlin, I think they all have a parade as well now. So pretty good. The Spring Creek Freedom Festival is going on, and that'll be a good thing. I think it's a lot of people live out in Spring Creek love doing it. It's pretty cool to see the fireworks going off over the marina. So, and obviously we also have the Bass Festival, which is the weekend before the 4th of July stuff. So that's always a great time. I was just on their website, and they said even if you're not bass but you love chorizo, please come on out. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then we've got the Silver State Stampede, July 14th through the 16th at the Elko County Fairgrounds. The 14th will be Wildfire Awareness Night, so be lots of more information for the public there at that event. It's a great rodeo. It keeps growing. And the expectation is to continue growing. They're able to get more funding through PRCA and through sponsors, to where they're offering larger purses, which is bringing in larger personalities as far as participants in rodeos go. So it's growing, and it's getting better every year, and that's a great group of people that do the rodeo board.
They have a cowboy channel on YouTube, or don't they have just a regular cowboy channel? I think there's going to be its national broadcast. So
yep, it will be on the Cowboy Channel.
Yeah.
I think it's on Dish Network and DirecTV, and you probably can get online, but you'll be able to watch the rodeo from anywhere.
Yeah,
if
they
you have access to that.
Concerts, and it's just it is a huge live event, and it's growing. And it's nice to see that too, Clint, because having grown up in the livestock and agriculture industry, how much that is an important part of tradition and culture here in Elko County, and we're one of the last true Western venues where you can enjoy this kind of competition and sport. Horse racing has been waning because it's very expensive, and a lot of small tracks have shut down.
Yep.
So it's nice that we can see a different kind of, or at least more investment, as you said, more interest in another sport that involves livestock and horses. So
yeah, it's very fitting for this area, and what it has and what its industry is comprised of. So
yeah, very
even
cool.
if you're not a cowboy or cowgirl, it's still a fun event to come to. It's always a good time.
It's fun. It's fun to people watch. Yeah, and cowboys wear paisley shirts and round glasses and fancy hats and big boots, and it's kind of a fashion show too. I know I'm kind of.
Oh yeah.
We're laughing, we're smiling, but it's fun. It's fun to see all the different expressions that people have during this event.
I think Saturday night, the 15th, will be Susan G. Komen Foundation. Breast Cancer Awareness Night, and it says I think its motto is "Real Men Wear Pink." So a lot of the cowboys will be wearing pink, dusters or whatever.
Nice, yeah.
Pretty cool.
So there was our. I haven't been able to talk about Stampede for a while, so thank you for coming on and reminding us of that.
Oh yeah.
So yep, it's coming right up. That's the surprising thing. It'll be in July. So
yeah, it'll be here before we know it.
All
Probably
right.
when the weather gets really nice.
Yes, it'll be sizzling. Yes, great. So. Is that all pretty much on your list today? Or,
Yeah.
And that's great. We promised Amanda we were going to circle back around. I just wanted to mention too, and probably not something Pat in her due diligence sent out another news release about recreational fees at the Elko facilities and campgrounds have increased for 4-day use sites, and that has already started as of June 1st. So still a bargain. When you think about a basic campsite, $6 a night. That includes North Wild Horse. Wilson is $4. The fees will increase going up through the year 2028, but beginning this year, so it'll go up a couple bucks, right, Clint? Were you aware of that? Or
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
And Leah Garcia, one of our recreation folks, she was on the show last month talking about it, and maybe something the public doesn't understand is that those vaults, those restrooms that they have, those things are prefabricated They're extremely heavy, and I believe it's over $100,000 for just one of them. And so that's part of why it's costing a little bit more for people to utilize those sites, but they're great sites.
Yeah, they are great sites, and all the fees, as Leah talked about, are deposited into accounts for managing these facilities and campgrounds. Rebuilding North Wild Horse Campground after the Sugarloaf fire is just one example of that. So you can find the table of increases online at elkoblm.gov. Sound
Right.
good? Well, Clint, thank you as always. I'm going to switch it back up because I'm sure Amanda, again, California Trail Days tomorrow and Sunday, and the theme is Surviving the Trail with lots of living history demonstrations, right?
Yes, that's right. So yeah, just a quick refresher, just in case anybody just joined us. California Trail Center at the Hunter exit 8 miles west of Elko. A free event, totally free, the next 2 days from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. As you said, lots of different demonstrations, from Native American demonstrations to immigrant skills. And then specifically Saturday only, we will be having the Honey, Mud, and Maggots medical practice talk at 3 p.m. and the Pioneer Dance with live music at 7 p.m.
We're going to send them all your way. And again, free admission, bring some spending money. They do have a great gift shop there. And of course, there'll be food. Indian Taco Truck will be on site.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. And so many people come out for the activities that are both indoors and out. And it's a great introduction. People come from all over. Seriously, they do. And it's a great way to bring your family and friends, especially if you're vacationing. I still run into people, Amanda, who say, I haven't been to the Trail Center yet.
Oh, no.
I know, we got to get them out
We got to
there.
get them out there.
Yep.
It's so much fun.
Certainly. Yep. Thank you. Clint, thank you so much for being on the program.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Clint Mothershed, Amanda Halsey from Elko District BLM. Thank you, listeners, for joining us for today's program here on Elko Live on KELK. Have a fantastic weekend. And don't forget, take the family, take your friends out to Trail Days tomorrow and Sunday. Free both days from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m.